The first item on the agenda are the approval of the minutes. We have, first is the hearings from January 29, 2025. I have reviewed these minutes. They've been posted online. Is there anybody that has any comments with regard to these minutes? Okay, seeing as nobody's here to discuss these comments, these are approved without any changes. So I'll actually sign these and have these for you. We have also March 5th, 2025 minutes from the special magistrate hearings on March 5th. Is there anybody here that has any comments with regard to these minutes? Nope, okay. I did get to review these online as well, and they are approved without any changes. And then the third set of minutes are April 30th, 2025. Does anybody have any comments with regard to these minutes? Okay, I did get to review these online, and they are approved without changes. Thank you. As a reminder, if everybody could please turn off your cell phones or silence them to not disturb today's hearings, that would be great. My name is Monica Schmecker. I'm the appointed special magistrate to hear today's code enforcement proceedings as provided for in Chapter 2, Article 5 of the Fort Myers Beach Land Development Code and the Florida Statutes, Chapter 162. Being as we just approved the minutes, the next order of business is for the violation cases. We have no status updates, correct, on the agenda?
Correct.
Okay. All right, these are quasi-judicial hearings, which means that they're similar to cases in court. The rules are less formal. Formal rules of evidence do not apply, but fundamental due process does apply and will govern these proceedings. I will listen to the facts and the evidence before me and apply them to the applicable law. Cases will be heard in the order that they appear on the agenda unless the parties wish to make any changes at this time in the order. Okay. In all cases, the town has the burden of proof and will present its case first. The respondent will then have the opportunity to speak, present evidence, and refute the town's allegations. All parties who are here to speak on a case will have the opportunity to do so. At the conclusion of each case or within 15 days, I will issue an order with findings of fact, conclusions of law, and affording the proper relief consistent with Florida law. At this time, I would like to ask everybody who's here, who's going to provide any testimony, to please stand and raise your right hand for the taking of the oath. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. All right, the town may call its first case. I have a case number 2024-0721, which is 121 Strandview Avenue.
Good morning. Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Marcel Chavez. I have been a court compliance officer for the town of Fort Myers Beach for a little over 10 months and 6 years prior with another jurisdiction. I have been sworn in and will be providing testimony and documentation for case number 2024-0721. The documentation is attached to the agenda as exhibits, and we ask that all documents be accepted as evidence. The subject property is located at 121 Strandview Avenue, Fort Myers Beach, Florida 33931. Exhibit A contains a notice of hearing sent on April 24, 2025, affidavit of notice of hearing and posting, proof of certified and regular mail, and photos of the notice of hearing posted on site inside Town Hall and in the Town Hall book on April 24, 2025. The documentation that the respondent Carol Anderson and Stacy Welsh owned the real property that is the subject of the code enforcement case. Included in Exhibit A is a copy of the Lee County property appraiser and a copy of the release of mortgage found in the Lee County public records that demonstrate that the notice was provided to the property owners. An affidavit of non-compliance with photos completed by employee Officer Chavez, both certified mail and regular mail for a notice of hearing returned, marked vacant. True and unaltered copies have been marked as Exhibit A and accepted into the record. On August 6, 2024, Officer Chavez observed Carol Anderson and Stacy Welsh in violation of the Town of Fort Myers Beach Code Ordinances, Section 110.1, maintaining property in need of repair or demolition, including but not limited to tall grass and weeds more than 12 inches, miscellaneous debris, garbage, and household items. Section 34-1176 C1, in-ground swimming pools. True, accurate, and unaltered copies of the photos taken on the date of the first inspection, August 6, 2024. The notice of violation and photos sent certified mail to the property owner and first-class mail. The NOV was posted on site on August 6 in Town Hall book, inside in the Town Hall book, and inside Town Hall on August 6, 2024. An affidavit of posting. All have been marked as Exhibit B. A re-inspection was performed on August 29, 2024, and the subject property was still in violation of the Town of Fort Myers Beach ordinances. An affidavit of non-compliance and photos of the inspection are marked as Exhibit C and accepted into record. A copy of Sections 110.1, Section 34-1176 C1, and Section 6.2 have been accepted as Exhibit D. Carol Anderson and Stacy Welsh were given 30 days to bring violations into compliance with the Town of Fort Myers Beach ordinances, which was on or before September 6, 2024. A site inspection was completed again on May 30th, 2025, and the subject property is in compliance. As an affidavit of compliance and photos of this inspection, accurate and unaltered photos of the inspection and affidavit of compliance has been marked as Exhibit E and accepted into record. As a result of the subject property owner ability to bring the subject property into full compliance with Town Code Section 110.1, maintaining of a property in need of repair and demolition, including but not limited to tall grass and weeds in excess of 12 inches, miscellaneous debris, garbage, and household items. Section 34-1176 C1, in-ground swimming pools, and Section 6-2. Based on my sworn testimony and evidence that has been presented to you, including the exhibits within the agenda packet, the Town of Fort Myers Beach would like to ask for an order of compliance be issued. We are not asking for fines for delay of compliance, but would like to impose an administration fee of $250 to cover the cost of bringing this matter before the magistrate. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a respondent here? No, okay. I didn't get a copy of Exhibit E. I did review A through D, and they will be admitted into the record. Do you have E? Thank you.
The affidavits of compliance.
Thank you. Exhibit E will be admitted into the record. My understanding is you're looking for just an order of compliance, an order showing that they were in violation but that they brought it into compliance. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're asking for no fine to be imposed, but the administrative fee of $250.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't suppose you have a draft order? No, okay. No.
We
It
can
takes-
get that to you, Your
You
Honor.
can, well, I mean, I can do it, if you have one, then I work off yours, but that's fine. Can you get one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you can get me a draft order, that would be wonderful in the next, week or so.
You got it.
Thank you. We'll say by next Friday, cause I have 2 weeks to submit it, so,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Mhm.
All right, okay, so we'll enter an order so stating. And is there anything else on this one?
That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And the next case that we have on the agenda is F&B case number 2024-0743. The address is 190 Bayview Avenue. Do we have a respondent for this one here present? Great. It typically can come up here, but you've got that table.
I'm fine,
Okay,
I'm fine.
what's your name?
Scott Sullivan, I'm the owner.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's
fine.
okay. Either way, however you guys want to do it. Perfect. If you can just give me 1 second so I can open up these exhibits.
Could I maybe, Monica?
Would you come up to the mic, please? And state your name for the record, please.
Monica, if you don't mind calling you that, I was here about 3-4 months ago, and I had the contractor that was doing the work.
Yeah.
Part of the deal was he was supposed to take care of all the permits.
Okay.
And
If you wanna let her present it and then you can respond to,
I wanna save you some time. I'm not trying, what I would like to do is give myself 30 days, maybe 6 weeks or whatever it is. Basically, I'm firing them, because the job's pretty well done, but they can't seem to get the permit right. And what I'd like to do is work with the compliance officer. I will personally take care of that, and I will take care of it in the next 30 days to figure out whatever it is that has to be done, because last time we were here, they said they will take care of it. I talked to this guy, I have a whole text list, or a whole text line of all the stuff that I've asked them to do to make sure that they were down here to take care of things. And they blame everything, they blame half of it on the city and half of it on something else, and there's always an excuse, and I'm sorry, but that's just what's happened. And I just like to work with the compliance officer myself personally and get this done, because they've told me they would be down here in the last 6 to 8 days and take care of it, and I'm
Okay.
guessing, because they're not here now, I'm guessing they didn't show up.
okay, Mr. Sullivan, so we'll go ahead and let her put it into the record and then we can figure out what would be the plan, the best
Thank
plan, okay? Thank you. You may proceed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name's Terry Wyke. I'm a code enforcement officer with the town of Fort Myers Beach. I've been here for a little over a year. I have 23 years of prior experience elsewhere. I've been sworn in and will provide testimony. Sorry, I need to put my glasses on. And documentation regarding case number 2024-0743. The documentation is attached to the agenda as exhibits, and we ask that all documents are accepted into evidence.
Okay. I reviewed the exhibits A through E,
Okay?
and those will be admitted into evidence. Does Mr. Sullivan have a copy? Sorry.
Copies.
Okay, did you review the exhibits?
Yes.
Okay, is anything in,
No.
okay, no objection, okay. Then they will be admitted into evidence, thank you.
I'm bringing this case before you because the original officer, Officer Bat, is no longer with the town of Fort Myers Beach, and she left for family reasons. And so I've been assigned to this case. I've researched this entire case, including photos and documents, and these documents are located in the town's iWorks program. This program is used and accessible to all town employees. I'll be presenting the case on behalf of the town of Fort Myers Beach Code Enforcement Case 02240743. The subject property is located at 190 Bayview Avenue, Fort Myers Beach, Florida 33931. Exhibit A contains the documentation that the respondent, Scott B. Sullivan, owns the real property that is the subject of this code enforcement case. Included in Exhibit A is a copy of the warranty deed, a copy of the Lee County tax collector receipt, and a copy of the Lee County property appraisers. True and accurate and unaltered copies of this have been marked as Exhibit A and accepted into the record. On August 15th, 2024, Officer Bat observed Scott B. Sullivan in violation of the town of Fort Myers Beach Code of Ordinances, specifically the construction of a wooden deck and or structure slash tiki hut outside the scope of work of his permit that he had, which was 2023-6648. True and unaltered copies and pictures taken on this date of the first inspection have been marked as Exhibit B and accepted into the record. A notice of violation was issued on August 15th, 2024, sent certified mail, return receipt to the property owner's address of record, specifically 1 Valley View Drive, Savannah, Illinois 61074. Posted at Town Hall located at 2731 Oak Street, Fort Myers Beach, Florida 33931, and a copy was loaded to the Town of Fort Myers Beach website for publication. A copy of the notice was also posted to the subject property at 190 Bayview Avenue, Fort Myers Beach on August 16th, 2024. True and accurate and unaltered copies of these documents are included. An affidavit of posting for the notice of violation have been marked as Exhibit C and accepted into the record. Scott B. Sullivan was given 30 days to come into compliance with the Town of Fort Myers Beach ordinances, which was on or before September 28, 2024. Officer Bat performed a re-inspection of the subject property on January 23, 2025. The subject property is still in violation of Town of Beach ordinances. Based on Officer Bat's re-inspection of the subject property, she prepared an affidavit of noncompliance with photos and started the process of bringing the case before a special magistrate. I performed a site inspection yesterday, 6/5/2025, and the property is still in noncompliance. Attached is also an affidavit of noncompliance, true and accurate, unaltered copies which have been marked as Exhibit D and accepted into the record. As a result, the subject property owner failed to bring the subject property into compliance with Chapter 6-481, working outside the scope of a permit. And on 5/7/2025, they were provided with a notice of code enforcement hearing for today's hearing as established in Exhibit C. Chapter 6-481, the Town of Ordinances, has been marked as Exhibit E and accepted into your record. At this time, I would like to ask permission to add Exhibit F, which is a copy of the affidavit of posting, a copy of the notice of today's hearing, a copy of photos of certified mail, a photo of the notice of hearing posted on May 8th, 2025, to the violation property and located at 190 Bayview, Fort Myers Beach, Florida, 33931. A photo of the notice of hearing posted on May 8th, 2025, Town Hall, both inside and in the window for 24-hour visibility at 2731 Oak Street, Fort Myers Beach. A copy of the posting to Town Hall website for publication. All documents are accurate and unaltered copies. Based on my sworn testimony and evidence that has been presented to you, including exhibits with the agenda packet, on behalf of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, the town would like to ask for the findings of a violation and to impose an administrative fee of $250 for the cost of bringing this before the special magistrate. Give the property owner 30 days to comply by applying for and receiving all the permits for the work that has occurred at this location and as stated in the notice of violation. If these violations are not corrected, the town would like to ask for $250 a day fine be imposed until the violations are abated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we have a F online with the agenda. Is this Exhibit G? This doesn't look to be the same as F, so.
That's the affidavit from your inspection from 6/5.
I just gave that to you this morning.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm
The
sorry.
judge has it now.
I guess she just gave it to you, yes.
Yes. Is that what you were requesting to be admitted? F was already admitted.
Yes, Your Honor, that will be Exhibit G.
Okay, thank you. So Exhibit
Thank
G.
you.
Did you get an opportunity to see this one?
No.
Would you like to, do you have a copy? Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I guess she was gonna make you a copy. Thank you. Okay, so while she does that and before that gets admitted, I wanna let him see it before that gets admitted, but. Okay, you may come up, Mr. Sullivan.
thank you.
So now that I know what
Okay,
what the allegations are,
sure.
now I have a better understanding of the context. I do remember the last hearing, and I do remember,
And I was under the impression that when we did it,
okay, let's just wait for her, because she's gonna have to take the minutes, so, thank you.
thank you.
Okay, just take a look at that and let me know if there's any objection to any of that. Thank you. Okay, so this will be Exhibit G. Okay.
So, I'm gonna look. I know this. Who is that? It's not property owner.
Okay.
different property owner on the paper.
You want to tell me, okay, tell me what.
Well,
what
it
you-
says, number 2, on August 15th, Christopher and Shannon Robertson, property owner was. Oh.
Hi, nice to meet
You
you.
wanna stand?
No, we're good.
Oh, you're good? Okay.
Okay,
So, I guess we have to fix that.
It's a typographical error, I'll fix it.
I
Okay.
got it.
okay, so, all right, so you've noted that the names of the property owner are incorrect on number 2, otherwise the rest seems
Yes.
non-objectionable. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just admit this into the record,
Sure.
okay? All right, so tell me what's going on, Mr.
Well,
Sullivan.
And first of all, I'm gonna go back, when I left here after the last meeting, I was relatively confused, because when we put the permit in, the way, and I did not do it, but the way I understood it, the tiki bar, the deck, was all part of one permit. Now, when we left, contractor was supposed to take care of things, and I've paid him to do all this stuff. Obviously, we're at this stage of the game, and it hasn't happened, and I've had many, many conversations with him. The person that's supposed to be handling it says he calls and talks, they call and leave messages, do it. I don't care. I'm tired of all the verbiage and all the back and forth. I'm here to say, look, I'm gonna be here for a while. I'd like to work with her. I just like to go get this thing taken care of. If it's the permit that needs to be corrected, we'll fix the permit. I'll get the right permit, and if it's something else that has to get done, we'll get it done, because this is not how I operate. Can I do that? Is that something we can work out?
So, okay,
And if you wanna charge me $250, you charge me $250. What, whatever, it's, between the hurricanes and all the fun stuff, what's $250?
all right, so, thank you,
Thank you.
okay. And I'm so sorry, what was your name again?
Terry,
What was your last name?
W-E-I-C-H, White.
Wyke, thank you. Okay, Officer Wyke, I don't know, I do remember, this has come up before, I'm not sure if it was a continued hearing or if there was an order, okay. I do remember the situation, was the contractor called again for today's hearing?
Oh, yeah, I've begged them to be down here for the last 10 days, to come down and get this rectified, because if it's just the permit issue, please come down and take care of it.
Okay.
But
Thank-
obviously, they're not here, they haven't taken care of it, and so here I am.
Officer Wyke, do you have any questions for him as far as, no, okay. I do have some questions for you, if you can. What progress has there been towards, compliance? Because I do know that when this came before me, there was some progress. I know the town was gonna work with the contractor to get that permit because there was confusion as to what was actually needed. And, so, I mean, in light of what he's saying, what progress has been made, or if any?
Not much. There was communication. Thank you, Tracy. There was communication on 6/4/2025. It was a rejection given to the contractor and the property owner. Basically, the contractor or the property owner need to provide, additional information to the town to make sure that everything that they've done there, meets setbacks. And nothing has been done since that letter. It was the third zoning review, and also, I believe, the third rejection letter that they've received. And this, letter went to the contractor Ramon Garcia. And like I said, it's the third rejection, and we haven't gotten any further.
what all is needed to be brought into compliance? Is it, you said additional information, is it just measurements for setbacks? What all, I mean,
So the rejection comments from Kendra Rosa, who's a permit person with the town, she said, rejection comments. I spoke with the contractor by phone to clarify that they need to show the 20-foot measurement along the rear of the property, excuse me, to define the rear property line. I also instructed them to clarify and to clearly indicate the 5-foot rear setbacks measured 5 feet inward from the rear property line. It was also mentioned that this permit will require an as-built survey to show that these setbacks receive a final on the permit.
could
it
you
says-
repeat that last thing you said?
It was also mentioned that this permit will require an as-built survey to show these setbacks and to receive a final on the permit. So before everything's final, they'll have to send a as-built survey to the town so that the town can make sure that all the setbacks are met.
Essentially, we're talking about they need measurements on the survey is what we need to bring into compliance.
Correct,
Okay, the goal is to bring into compliance.
correct.
Is I assume then by that there's permitting in process for that other structure that had not been permitted, correct?
So I believe the original permit was for the deck, and I don't believe it included the tiki hut.
Right, it didn't, I'm saying
Right.
for the tiki hut, that's the issue.
The tiki hut and the deck, I believe, are both issues. That's why they're gonna need the as-built survey in the end to prove that everything meets setbacks.
There was a permit for one, but not the other.
Right,
Right, so there was a permit for the deck, but not the tiki.
right. So they need to add the tiki hut to it.
Right.
But still, in the end, they need that as-built survey.
Right, for the whole thing,
Right.
okay. So in light of what Mr. Sullivan has said today, what are you requesting?
Well, we're, fine with giving him the 30 extra days. But from what I've been told from my supervisor and from reading through the whole case, this has been going on a long time. And they've received 3 rejection letters, all basically stating that we need the same information, and that hasn't occurred yet. So that's why we're asking, well, we're fine with giving them 30 days, but then after that, we'd like the $250 a day.
Okay, so up until now, you've been working with the contractor, is that correct?
I haven't, but the
Not you-
town
not
has
you,
been.
yes,
Yes,
but
we.
You're speaking
Yes.
for the town today?
Yes,
Okay.
mhm.
So, and Mr. Sullivan has stated today that he wishes to work with you directly because he's having an issue with a third party.
I'm fine with that, if he
Okay.
wants to work through me.
And that was gonna be my question. Can you work with the property owner
Absolutely.
directly so that this can be brought into compliance? Because it
Absolutely.
appears to me that he's showing interest in bringing it into compliance, which I believe is our goal.
Sure.
So can you work with the property owner directly
Yes, ma'am.
so that we could do that to hopefully get it done?
Yes, ma'am.
and
I'll
that-
give him my email address and my cell phone number, and we can work together.
Okay, because if there's a third party that's not getting you what you need, it's in his best interest to get it to you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
That would be my preference than to begin fining when
Okay.
it's something that he's not apparently had as much control over as if he were to be working with you directly. So let's set a goal for that. Mr. Sullivan, can you please? What I'd like for you to do is work with them directly to get them what they need. And I will provide the additional 30 days.
It's gonna be tough maybe to get some of this stuff done in
I
30
will,
days.
I will not automatically begin to impose a fine at that time, because I understand that there will be elements that are beyond your control, including the time that it will take for the town to process. But there needs to be significant compliance, like if they need a survey, like those phone calls need to be made immediately so that
Absolutely.
gets started, right? Like go home and make those phone calls, whoever it is
Yep,
that you
today.
need, so that we can get that going, because this has been going on for a very long time. And while I understand that you've been counting on relying on your contractor to do it, you're the one ultimately that's
I-
gonna be
I get
fined,
it.
so,
I get it.
um,
I'm not sure, the person, and I just heard this again, the person that you talked to, or you were sent to Yavara or something like that?
Pardon me?
There was a name that she said that she, I don't recognize that name. And so I'm wondering if maybe some of these, issues or some of the letters you're sending, I'm wondering if they're going to the right person, cause I don't know. You just named somebody?
Officer Bat or Kendra Rose?
No, it was.
No,
not an
I think
officer.
that he's referring to the rejection letters and the
Rejection letters.
recipient of those
Yeah, the
letters.
rejection letters. I don't recognize,
Oh, Garcia?
yeah, I don't recognize that name.
Okay,
I mean,
okay,
it was Knight Solutions, is who I've worked with, and there was a Jennifer, I don't know this.
That's the contractor we have listed.
right, okay, thank you. It's probably whoever has the license for the company. Okay.
That's probably what it is, that's why you don't understand that.
Okay, so what I'll do is if you can provide the direct contact information so that he can get you exactly the information that you need in order to make this permit final. And at the expiration of 30 days, we need to see that there has been some progress towards that. Like affirmative
Sure, I'll get it.
progress. And then, I will not automatically start imposing a fine, but at that point, if there isn't any progress, then I will order the fines start, so,
I understand,
okay.
thank you.
Does that work? All right, so I hate to continue it again, but let's do that, and now we'll be working directly with the homeowner as opposed to the contractor.
Sure.
Okay, does that work for you
Works
as well?
fine for me.
All right, so, I'll enter an order that states that 30 days, there must be some sort of actual progress with getting the information, and we'll take it from there.
I'll get on it,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
And then I'll call you when all this is over for
Give me just a few moments. Okay, I'll enter an order or I'll provide an order for that one, within the next 15 days, but essentially, the ruling is just 30 days, to work directly with the town as opposed to the town working with the contractor. And if no progress, then I won't automatically impose the fine, I have to hear what the progress is, but if there isn't any progress, then at that point, I'll order I'll order fines. And I'll get an order in for you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Your
so
Honor.
that's it, yes, thank you. All right, so that's it for that one. So next case, that will be called 2024-0736, address is 4855 Dolphin Lane. Do we have a respondent on that one here?
That's us.
Okay. Do you guys have any documents or anything, or if you wanna come up to the front? I know she's
Sure.
got that table.
Do you
I
have
don't know if there's
everything.
a better
Copies
spot
for
for you.
And I keep moving back to my original.
No, that's okay.
Don't bite.
Typically, we'll have like the town on one side and then the
Where
respondents
is
on the
this
other,
then?
but there's more
Okay.
people here, so. Perfect. That's fine. It's fine, and I don't even mind if you guys wanna go over here, if you need to spread out, okay.
Okay.
Are you okay with this? Okay, perfect. If you just, let me just open that one up, cause I like to have all of the exhibits open. So. All right, you can proceed.
Again, good morning. My name is Terry White, Town of Fort Myers Beach Code Compliance Officer. You've heard about my background, and I'm here providing testimony and documentation for case number 2024-0736. This documentation is attached to the agendas as exhibits, and we ask that all documentations be provided into evidence.
I have exhibits A through D, which I have reviewed. Had the respondents reviewed the exhibits that were online?
No, I have not. Oh, now I see them.
Okay. Could you just let me know if you have any specific objections to any of them? Do you need or you have a copy?
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen this.
Okay. They were posted online
Tell her again.
with the agenda. I don't think they would have been mailed to you.
No.
Let her know that you have this inspection.
Okay.
We have Exhibit A, a notice of hearing, an affidavit of posting, Exhibit B, a notice of violation, Exhibit C, a status of compliance, Exhibit D, violation regulations. Do you have any issue with these being admitted? Just being admitted, I mean, you'll have an opportunity to
Oh,
speak
okay,
to them,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yes,
no,
okay.
no
All right,
problem.
so I'll admit Exhibits A through D into the record. And then she'll be able to speak to what the allegations are, and then you'll have an opportunity
Sure.
to respond.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, Officer Ike?
Okay. The subject property we're going to be discussing is 4855 Dolphin Lane, Fort Myers Beach, Florida 33931. Exhibit A contains a notice of hearing sent on April 25th, 2025. Affidavit and notice and posting, copy of certified mail receipt, signed green card, and photos of the hearing posted on May 7th, 2025 on site, on Town Hall, and in the Town Hall book, as well as uploaded into the Fort Myers Beach website for publication. The documentation that the respondents Christopher Robertson and Shannon Robertson own the real property that is subject of this code enforcement case, including in Exhibit A is a copy of the Lee County property appraisers, a copy of the special warranty deed found in the Lee County public record. These records demonstrate that the notice was provided to the property owners, and the notice of hearing certified mail green card was returned and signed. True and accurate and unaltered copies have been marked as Exhibit A and accepted into the record. On August 9th, 2024, Code Enforcement Officer Terry Wyke, me, observed Christopher Robertson and Shannon Robertson in violation of the Town of Fort Myers Beach Code of Ordinances 6-441, permits required. Specifically, work without permits, including but not limited to lower level work. On September 10th, 2024, a permit was applied for but rejected, and resubmittal was required, which means all the paperwork was not submitted. True and accurate and unaltered copies of pictures taken on that day, the first site inspection, which was August 9th, 2024. Notice of violation was sent, certified mail, on August 14th, 2024, and a copy was uploaded to Town of Fort Myers Beach website for publication. An affidavit of notice of violation and posting, copy of certified mail receipt. The green card was never received, the certified mail green card, and photos of the notice of violation posted on site on August 15th, 2024. Town of Fort Myers Hall book have been marked as Exhibit B and accepted into the public record. Status of compliance. I performed a re-inspection of the subject property on April 24th, 2025, and the subject property was found to be still in violation of the Fort Myers Beach ordinances. An affidavit of noncompliance and photos of the inspections are marked as Exhibit C and accepted into the record. In preparation for the affidavit of noncompliance, I have screenshots from Lee County property appraisers, the front view of the home in question, and screenshots from November 2028, January 2028. November 2018, January 2018. Also included in these screenshots are from Google Earth from March 2023, 2 photos I took on April 2025. All show that the exterior changes to the home were made without permitting. I've also included screenshots from our computer program, iWorks. These screenshots show that permits have been applied for since 2019. And the iWorks program is used by all town employees to do town business. And this program is also available for residents and contractors. That will be Exhibit F, which we have right here.
Did we skip E? Do we have E? Did you?
Yeah, I skipped
Oh.
over E, I guess.
Thank you. Are you gonna request that to be admitted E?
Yes, please.
Okay, we make sure that the respondents have a copy, do they?
Yes, they have.
Okay, of E and F?
E
Okay.
will be the status of non-compliance. I apologize for messing the order up.
No, that's okay, so E is
Did you
the
give them
final
copies of
affidavit
that?
of non-compliance and photographs attached.
Right, and F will be the one that she just gave you.
The screenshots from
Yes, please. From,
Lipa
Lipa.
and
Mhm.
Googler.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, do you have a copy of these? Okay.
You got a copy of this? Is that what you're?
It's a final affidavit of non-compliance?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what about screenshots from Lipa and Google, or,
These pictures?
no?
No, I don't believe they have that.
Here, you wanna, you can, it's a lot, if you wanna hand that to them to look it over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any objection to that being admitted? No objection, so we'll admit that. They can, yeah, so they can keep looking at it. If you wanna keep, do you wanna keep that copy?
Or a copy would be great, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, you can
Whatever-
send it to
whatever's
me
easier.
electronically, there's a lot of pages, I don't wanna waste so much ink.
Yes, I have it. Is that E that we're talking about now?
F,
F. We can send it to you.
Yeah, yeah, please. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yep. Thanks.
okay. Thank you. Okay, sorry, you can proceed.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know why this is, I'm getting this all out
You're
of
okay.
whack here.
You're good.
So anyway, the Town of Fort Myers Beach Code Section 6-441 permits required are marked as Exhibit D and accepted into the record, please. The Robertsons were given 30 days to come into compliance with the Town of Fort Myers Beach ordinances, which was on or before October 1st, 2024. I completed another site inspection June 5th, 2025, and the subject property is still in violation. However, the property owner did submit additional paperwork on June 2nd, 2025, but the paperwork is still in review, and the permitting department completed a quick review and advised me that the application is still incomplete. An affidavit of non-compliance and photos of the inspection accurate on altered photos are Exhibit E, which you already have. Please accept them into the record.
E and F have been admitted into the record.
Thank you. As a result of the subject property owner's failure to bring the subject property into compliance with the Town of Code Section 6-441, permits required, and based on my sworn testimony and evidence that has been presented to you, including the exhibits within the packet, I'd like to ask for an order to be issued, and the town would like to ask findings for this violation and to impose administrative fees of $250 to cover the cost of bringing this to the special magistrate. Give the property owners 30 days to comply by applying for and receiving permits for the work that has occurred or underway. And if these violations are not corrected, the town would like to ask for a $250 a day fine be imposed until the violations are abated. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have Mr. and Mrs. Robertson, you may
Sure.
respond. Thank you. You may proceed.
First and foremost, we're trying to be compliant as heck with this. Tracy can attest how many times that we've come in here to try to get help. A lot of this is kinda like speaking a different language to me when I see on here that, you know, stuff about floodplains and, you know, get this from FEMA section. I don't know where to go get this stuff, to be honest with you, so we need help. Little background on the story. Well, first of all, like I said, we wanna be totally compliant. You know, we've been full-time residents here for about 4 years. My wife's family built island towers back in the late 60s. They've always, you know, had lots of family here, so, you know, as long as I've been married to my wife, we come down here a lot and decided to make this home when I retired from work after, you know, a long career and all that. And, now since the hurricane, wound up spending a lot of my retirement money just to kind of exist. And unfortunately, we've run into a terrible contractor that, Tracy can attest to, that I have a state case against. He has warrants out for his arrest. His name's Ken Evans, that did a little bit of this work that's pictured here. Took money from us and split town. I'm out $91,000. As far as these pictures here, this is all news to me about the windows being on this, but I could have misread something. That was some of the work that Ken had done. The one window on the right of this picture, I'm a very tall individual. We had Ken raise that window up first. That's the same window that's been on the house since 1974. We did add in a new window that Ken did the work for us, and again, he split town from us. I see a picture at the electrical box. After we finally, well, Ken Evans again had an electrician try to repair that box, and it looked like an octopus gone out of control. And we did have a contractor, or an electrician that come in to try to do the work to make sure it was compliant. He came in here to try to do permits. His name is Jason. I'd have to look up his last name again. Begins with an H. He tried to come down here, get permits. He wound up giving up on it. I don't know for what reasons. I can't speak for him. So that was another person that failed us, trying to get permits and trying to be compliant and all that. The simple thing about the carport is we use that as a storage area because we don't have a garage on our house. So we have tools in there. We have some of my daughter's furniture after we took her back in the home. All it is a storage area. It was originally enclosed after my wife's grandmother had bought the house years and years ago as an investment. And then I'm basically doing the work myself with help from friends because I can't really trust anybody anymore as far as contractors to help us get this all completed. As far as Terry here, this emails the other day is the first time I've ever heard of her or been in contact. I've come down to the city numerous times. You can see the sign-in sheets over the last 6 to 8 months. I've sat down with the woman that's in this desk. I've sat down with the woman that's in this desk asking about this, and they said there was no record of it. Even though I do remember originally getting it, but I asked them to help me with it, trying to get it done, and they couldn't find anything. So, not to my fault, I didn't know what the heck was going on. And then, come a couple weeks ago, we see the violation again on our house. So we have, during that time, still tried to be compliant and everything. Worked with Tracy, who's been great with us when we've been able to interact with her as far as helping us out. Getting all the permit paperwork in, which I thought was gonna be somewhat of satisfaction to get to show us trying to work with the city. And then a gentleman by the name of Carl Thomas sent us this list of stuff that, like I said, I don't know what any of this FEMA stuff is or where to go find it. I mean, it could take me days and days trying to find this stuff. Just looking for some help to help us print this stuff out or help us to locate it. It would benefit us if we had somebody working with us to help be compliant, because we want to make this you know, this is my retirement home and everything, and we've been through three hurricanes, and it keeps costing me out of pocket because trying to find an honest contract around this area is really hard. And like I said, that's what's led me to start doing this work myself. And you know, just kind of summarize everything. You know, we want more time to, now that we see all this stuff and stuff we've never seen before, we just want more time to be compliant with city and actually to work and sit down with somebody to help us to get this. Cause I don't, you know, that's all I gotta say. You know, we just wanna work and get this done, and we wanna be done with it. We're tired of the hurricanes. We're tired of money coming out of our pockets. I've had to go back and work again to try to pay for some of this stuff. I was retired. So, we're kind of throwing ourselves some mercy. We wanna get it done and be done with it, move forward with our lives.
Mr. Robertson, have you received a response letter stating what it is that needs permitting and what information you're missing?
Yeah, this Carl Thomas sent me an email. Hang on, let me pull it up again. This has really been, besides this original, the most communication we've ever got is this past week. Because we haven't really heard anything. Like I said, I've come in here, you can see where I've signed in and talked to people other than Tracy. Every time we talk with Tracy, we get some headway because she's been very helpful. Yeah, there's an item here when we turn this in about the garage enclosure. We need a flood affidavit. I guess that's on the line at a website. A floor plan of the construction. Overhead profit. Well, there's no profit because I'm doing the work myself. A FEMA 50% market value. Flood vents, which is the first time I've ever heard we need flood vents on a storage area. Never heard this before, but if that's what it is, I'll research it and get it done. Calculations for flood openings, state on plans, the flood vents. An after the fact permit, the owner must file an after the fact permit for any work completed. I've never heard of an after the fact, but if that is, then again, it's something I wish somebody would print off for us and we'll get it knocked out. So this was just sent by Carl Thomas. I guess I don't know, he sent me an email saying he's in Georgia or something like that. I don't know if he's on vacation or if that's where he's permanently based on, but again, just trying to get all this stuff taken care of. And like I said, the gentleman that did do the work on the electrical box after the original guy, Ken Evans, people screwed it up. I don't know the dates. I'd have to talk to him again as far as his attempts with the city to try to get that resolved. I don't know what will happen with that. I'm just basing on what he told me, so who knows if, you know, that's all true or whatever. It's just been,
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you. Officer White, I have a few questions for you, please.
First of all, let me say I'm sorry for all the mess that you guys are going through. I had no idea that they had contractors that were leaving them and they lost all this money and, hadn't been told about communications other than what Tracy had talked to them, I think it was last Monday. So, again, the town apologizes for all that you guys are going through and that we're here today, basically.
Okay. Do you have any questions for him at this time before, or any reply to other, thank you for your reply, but any other reply as
I
far
don't
as the
believe so.
substance? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Just a few questions. On the affidavit, it doesn't specify everything, so, as far as what was done that needed a permit, I see the photographs, with the arrows, but, could you tell me is it just the enclosure of the downstairs, or are there the other items as well?
Well, so in the notice of violation, we state the enclosure or basically anything else that has occurred that we're not aware of. So, as he was stating, new windows, anything that's occurred behind the walls that we obviously don't know about. The electrical that he was talking about, there was a mini split relocation and condenser reinstalled. That one's been finalized, so that's something that you don't need to worry about. There was, a structural electrical letter, which basically isn't really a permit, even though it's given a permit number, that's been finalized. Obviously nothing to worry about. They
You said
are-
the electrical?
It's an inspection that was done after Hurricane Ian, so it's just what it's called. I believe they did it in every house on the island.
But it is the I'm sorry, but that was the electrical.
But there's an electrical repair amps, 200-watt, 200-volt, 240 volts overhead service that is still waiting on resubmittal. That permit number is 242440. So that could be the electrical you're talking about, but again, I'm not a permit person or an electrical person. But there are several things that are still waiting on resubmittal. So the mini split is an air conditioner, so that thing's been taken care of.
Yep.
And then we're waiting on resubmittal for the enclosure of the carport. All those things that he rattled off that Carl had stated that are required are what we require from everyone on the island that has any lower level enclosure, whether it's for storage or for a car or whatever. We require all those things for everyone. So we are waiting on resubmittal for the carport enclosure and anything else that's been done that the town is not aware of behind the walls and, as he stated, the windows. And that's something that I've also noticed on reinspection, that the windows appear to be new. So we're asking that that be included in the resubmittal.
I guess what, and I understand anything that you're not aware of, but my question is what it is that you've cited him for, or them, sorry, that we're waiting to bring into compliance. So in order for me to address them, I need to know just essentially what they are. So I know that there may be things inside that you're not aware of, but what we're here about today are the things that you cited him for. So my understanding is the enclosure needs resubmittal.
Correct.
If there were new windows put in or moved, that needs to be included in the resubmittal.
Correct.
Is there anything else? You said the electrical.
Mhm.
Okay,
And it would be in their best interest, especially since the town's going to do an inspection, that if anything occurred on the
Right.
inside, that they should
to
probably take
mention
care of.
those things as well,
Yeah.
so we can get it all taken care of.
Mhm.
I understand
Yeah.
that. So, and I hope you understand that too. Okay.
That's just to
Okay.
protect yourself, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we don't end up in the same situation.
Can I ask something real quick, or?
Oh.
Or, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yes, no,
No.
you can speak, but just
Yeah,
let
I'm
me
sorry.
finish, that's okay. And then, as far as the resubmittal, is the reason for the resubmittal because they have submitted some application that is either incomplete or incorrect and they need to provide additional information? Is that why we need a resubmittal?
Correct, and if you would like, I can work with them like I'm gonna work with the other gentleman, and I can be their go-to person.
Right.
Um,
I think that it's important, obviously, like I said, the idea and the goal is to get everybody in compliance.
yes, ma'am.
And if, there's a third party who is involved, it's very difficult to control some of these third parties. So we, if the homeowner is willing to step up, then I believe that it is in everybody's best interest to deal directly with the homeowner who wants to fix the situation, who's gonna be ultimately responsible. Make sure that he knows what it is that's required, and then give him time to give you that information.
Okay,
Um,
it's reasonable.
the
I'm here for them if they need me.
Okay, the only thing I will say is, I understand, Mr. Robertson, that you may not understand all these things. The town cannot function as an attorney or a contractor for you. So it would be your responsibility to understand if they give you a list of what's required, they can only do so much for
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
If you need outside help, you seek that outside expert help, but it is ultimately going to be your responsibility to
Sure.
make sure that these things are brought into compliance.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that you don't understand, to the extent that they could explain it to you, it's one thing, but, at some point, You will have to find somebody to help you directly, you know, to explain these things if you don't understand what certain things are, okay, or how to get
I just,
them.
yeah, I just, my thing is just where I need to locate these items at, and then I'll get them.
If you're
printed
gonna
off.
speak, you have to do it into the microphone, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just telling you that. So, I'll allow you, I know you said you wanted to reply briefly, I'll allow you to reply. So you can come up to the mic
Sure.
to do that.
Sure, sure.
I just wanted to tell you
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I totally understand that, and that's what we've been trying to do, and like I said, Tracy's been a great help, trying to help us identify these things and get them printed off and get them done. I'm not a contractor, so a lot of this stuff, like I said before, is verbiage that I've never heard. I don't know where to go get this stuff. That's why I just need extra time to go try to go do that, or work with this on the city to kind of show me where I need to get this stuff. As far as some of the stuff, that contractor skipped town on me. I don't know. I'll do my best to try to get it complete for the stuff that he did.
I understand, but need to get it into compliance, and if he's not gonna be around, then.
Well, he's running from the law. you
Right,
know,
no,
like
I
said.
understand that.
Yeah, so,
So let's try to work to get it into compliance.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
what I'm going to do, and I'll put in the order within the next 30 days, I would like for the town to just give them a list of what items need the permitting, okay? That you're aware of course, obviously, if there's anything else that needs permitting, you
Sure.
too. So, but what items you're waiting on and what is required, in order to bring them into compliance and get the permitting. And then I need to see some progress
sure,
on that.
absolutely.
So, whatever that may be. So we can do 30 days. I mean, obviously the towns, if he needs to show, if they need to show compliance or status towards compliance within 30 days, then the town needs to get that to him with enough time so that they could actually go out and get these items. So, can you work with just them and just get them the information that you need, like what the information is that you need in order to move forward? Okay.
That'd be a big help.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
We will do that. Do understand that it's going to be ultimately your responsibility. I do understand the situation, and I do understand that you had somebody that was doing it, but there will be fines imposed if we, if you don't take the
Yeah,
responsibility to do it, so please do, okay?
Oh, no, that is our total intention, like I said, as soon as we saw it, like I said, I came in here several times and tried to talk. I don't know if the two ladies that sat there and there still even work here anymore, but I sat down with them, tried to.
I understand. No, I get it. I understand.
know.
We
So
just
I'm
want
just trying
to,
to
we
paint
just
a
want
picture that
progress,
I've been
right?
trying to work with, but when you're told, oh, there's nothing on the records, then I'm like, okay.
Okay, well, now
You
you're,
know,
okay,
and
thank
now
you.
I'm seeing this, in the last 2 weeks, I'm like, holy cow, now I
Okay.
gotta do all this stuff.
No,
After I was
thank-
told there wasn't anything on records.
No, thank you. So now you understand that there are certain items that they need additional information in
Absolutely.
order to issue a permit. So please work with the town, and
Yeah.
after 30 days, we're gonna check the status of that, and I need to see significant progress towards
That's
compliance.
not a problem.
So if you can at least get that process rolling within the next week or so that he has the information that he needs to get something accomplished, okay?
Perfect.
All right? Okay, does that work? Is there anything else that you need to request for this one? Does that work for, okay, good. So let's do that and then continue the resolution of that. If you could exchange contact information, that'd be great, thank you. All right, so just, do you get
Yeah.
same type order? I'll issue an order that just says that they'll have 30 days to show significant progress, same thing as the last one. And if not, then at that time I will start imposing fines. But I won't automatically start imposing the fines because I need to see that there's been significant progress, and if there's any additional delay, that it's not their fault.
Understood.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll issue an order for that. Let me get the other one open and then we can move on.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, so. We've already spent too much money. I had to, like I said, I had to do work again.
All right. All right, are we ready? Are we good with that one? We're done with that one? Okay, are we ready? Okay, so the next case that I'll be calling is F&B case
Thank you.
number 2025-0396, property address 5740. Oh, sorry. Do we have a respondent for this one here?
No, this one is actually complied as
Oh.
well.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Robertson. Okay. Okay, all right, you may proceed.
Okay, hopefully I get my exhibits right here. Sorry about all the confusion.
No, you're good.
Again, I'm Terry White, Co-Compliance Officer for the Town of Fort Myers Beach. We're going to be discussing case number 2025-0396, and the documentation is attached to the agenda as exhibits, and we ask that all documentation be accepted into evidence.
I have exhibits A, B, C, and D.
Alright.
I have reviewed them and I will admit them into the record, seeing as we have no respondent and no objection to same.
And we have exhibit E, which is the affidavit of notice of compliance that is going to be presented to you.
Thank you. This is, I'm sorry, exhibit E, you said?
Yes, please.
Okay. Exhibit E will be admitted into the record. Okay, you may proceed.
The subject property is located at 5740 Lauder, Fort Myers Beach, Florida, 33931. Exhibit A contains a notice of hearing sent on April 30th, 2025. Affidavit and notice of hearing and posting proof of certified and regular mail. Photos of the notice of hearing posted on site and on town hall and in the town hall book on May 14th, 2025. The documentation that the respondent Wendy MacArthur and unknown heirs of Janet MacArthur owns the real property as subject of this code enforcement case, included in Exhibit A, and a copy of Lee County property appraisers, a copy of the release of mortgage, which is found in Lee County public records. The documentation demonstrates that the notice was provided to the property owners. An affidavit of non-compliance with photos completed by former code officer, Officer Bat. Both certified mail, regular mail for notice of hearing, returned, stamped vacant, and true and unaltered copies have been marked as Exhibit A and accepted into the record. On April 25th, 2025, I, Code Enforcement Officer Terry White, observed Wendy MacArthur, unknown heirs of Janet MacArthur, in violation of the Town of Fort Myers Beach Code of Ordinances, Sections 6-1 Q&R, the adoption of the International Property Maintenance Code, Chapter 6-1, Section 304.1, 302.5, 304.2, 304.5, Land Development Code 6-1, Sections 18-35 A and B, Sections 26-45 A and H, Section 6-2, Sections 302-4, specifically stating maintenance of property in need of repair, demolition, including but not limited to tall grass and weeds in excess of 12 inches, missing handrails, siding, missing hand guardrails, missing and damaged doors, missing garage doors, missing walls, dry rotted wood, stairs damaged, pulling apart from the building, and habitat for vermin and garbage and debris and household items underneath the home. And the home appeared to be leaning at the time of my inspection. True and accurate and unaltered copies of photos taken on that date of the first inspection, April 25th, 2025, and the notice of violation and photos were all sent certified mail to the property owner, first class mail to her heir, and the notice of violation was posted on site of April 26th, 2025. In the town hall book and on town hall on April 25th, 2025, and an affidavit of posting all have been marked as Exhibit B. A status of noncompliance was performed by Officer Bad on May 12th. The violation was still there. An affidavit of noncompliance and photos of the inspection have been marked as Exhibit C. And then Exhibit D are all the sections of the code that I rattled off earlier. And Wendy MacArthur and unknown heirs of Janet MacArthur were given 15 days to bring the property into compliance with the Town of Fort Myers Beach ordinances, which was on or before May 12th, 2025. I completed a site inspection again on June 5th, 2025, and the subject property was compliant. An affidavit of compliance and photos of the inspection, accurate and unaltered photos of the inspection, and affidavit of compliance has been marked as Exhibit E and accepted into the record. As a result, the subject property owners brought the property into full compliance with all the sections of the code stated before, and based on my sworn testimony and evidence presented to you, including the exhibits within the agenda packet, the Town of Fort Myers Beach would like to ask for an order of compliance be issued and to impose administrative fee of $250 to cover the cost of bringing this matter before the magistrate. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing as we have no respondent, then I guess there'll be no other testimony for this one. I will issue an order saying you don't have a draft?
No,
Okay.
but we'll have one for you.
Okay, order of compliance, it will be an order stating that there was a violation that has been brought into compliance, and the administrative fee of $250 and no fine to be imposed.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you can get that to me within a week, then I'll work off of that, and I'll get it back to you within another week after that.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Let me make a note of that so that when I go back, I see it. Okay, is there anything else on that
No, ma'am.
matter? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so, I've lost the agenda. There we go. Alright, so that concludes the violation cases on the agenda. It does not look like we have any other matters set for hearing today.
Correct.
Okay. Alright then. Is there any other issue that needs to be addressed by anybody? Nope, administratively. Alright then, we will adjourn.